My name is
Hello.
Erica Inman, and I'm a writer with Mainland, and I'm here with Nick Powells, our CEO and publisher. So essentially, I've been interviewing a lot of franchisees and franchisors, and they use these expressions to talk about franchising quite often. So I've made a list, and I thought I would quiz you today, Nick, and see if you could.
What if I don't know the answer?
I mean, most of them are, I think you can work it out. I have some faith in you that you'll be able to do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Otherwise, I can help you. All right. So the first one that I hear quite a lot is to describe franchising is a business in a box or box business. What do people mean by that?
Business in a box. So in essence, you're skipping the line and you're buying something that's already been created. So if you went out and went through the exercise of opening up your own company, non-franchise, and this is just fast general terms, you're going to need to have a name. You're going to have to register that name. You're going to have to create a logo for that business. If you're brick and mortar, you're going to have to figure out how do you design your location. You're going to have to go supply all of the materials, fixtures that you're going to need inside of that location. You're going to then need a website. You're going to have to set up all of your social media. You're probably going to need some branded items, and the list goes on and on and on. And so the benefit of buying a business in a box is the box is already created. So all of those things are offset. Now, some people bump into the fees, which the two main fees are the franchise fee and the royalty. Sometimes there's a tech fee or a marketing fee that's associated with it. Sometimes they're like, well, can I negotiate that? Or that number's too high. But it's like, listen to that list that I just started and you could continue on. It's pretty lofty. And so if you look at the ability to skip the line in business and buy something that's business in a box, it is pretty well constructed. Now, the last thing that I'll say in there, that doesn't mean it's a guarantee for success, though. Just because you're buying the box, like you buy a computer in the box, the idea is that you turn it on and it works and it magically does everything that you want. Business is a little bit different. It's going to take hustle and grit. It's going to be going to take you being able to settle the voice in your head. And so business in a box doesn't mean it allows you to skip the line to profitability. It just means it's giving you a jump start on all those things that it would take to build your own business.
Yeah, very well explained. You mentioned fees, which brings me to my next expression. This one's my favorite. A lot of people mention the dumb tax. Often it's people talking about, the franchisor paying the dumb tax for you. Can you explain what that means?
Well, I assume, first of all, I've never heard the dumb tax. So I'll make an assumption. So the franchisee is saying that the franchisor pays the dumb tax for you?
Yes.
I mean, maybe that's them saying that the franchisor has already made all the mistakes on your behalf. So when you're paying the fees, you get to skip ahead on some of those early business mistakes. Is that in line with what you think it is?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I've been hearing it more and more, and I quite like the expression.
Boy, I want to know who came up with that. Like there are sayings that are frequent. The two big ones. Well, now I've added in a third. The three sayings that I use way too much is brands don't sell brands, people do. That was a Mainland 1851 special. The why you, why now is one that we've put out there. And now my new one is don't bet on the horse, bet on the jockey. But the dumb tax, maybe I'll have to use that one now too.
Yeah, definitely add it in there. It's a good one. Another expression I come across a lot is a turnkey model when talking about a franchise. What do they mean by that?
I mean, turnkey is very similar to business in a box. I mean, a true turnkey is you buy something, you turn the key, and it's all there. So a true turnkey in a brick and mortar is more so on the resale, like you're buying someone else's business that has already been developed out. On occasion, there are business concepts that will have a modular unit, which is basically the unit gets dumped off of a truck, or the franchisor says, we're going to go build out the location for you. So you come in there, you turn the key, and it's your business. But turnkey traditionally means you turn the key and the business already created. It kind of is used on the franchise sense because there is a business that's already built, but but somewhere in between those two statements is probably what franchisees are referring to.
Definitely. All right. The last one I have is the phrase, I want to work on the business, not in the business.
Okay, so working on the business, not in the business. In the business or in the weeds is doing all the tactical things. So we'll use a McDonald's. Working in the business is the orders from the counter, the drive-through, or piecing together the process of here's your burger, fries, and shakes that come out of it. That would be in the business. Working on the business is more so looking at, imagine yourself lifting above the McDonald's, and you're thinking about how do I scale the business? How do I make sure our staff is motivated and wants to be a part of our system? So it's working on the culture. It's the business planning for where do you want to go in the business. And so if you get lost in the business, you're going to really struggle at scale. If you work on the business, the odds of you being able to scale it and grow something becomes much larger. So I think a lot of franchisees, at least in my opinion, for the first 6 months at a minimum, should get lost in the business, because once you have an understanding of how things work, now when you're providing insight or opinions above that, the odds of you having impact or success only get better.
Yeah, that's great advice. Well, that was all my expressions.
Easy.
Yeah, thank you. Well done. Do you have any final words of wisdom for people who are like approaching franchising for the first time and they're finding this lingo kind of intimidating or feel a bit unsure?
Yeah, I mean, like buying a franchise is a big decision. You're in essence going to invest your life savings into a business that you have little to no control over. That's a big deal, but you get the benefits of skipping the line or business in a box and all the mistake, the dumb tax. And so the benefits do outweigh the risk. But the biggest risk is your mindset and where is your brain at when you're going through this process of making the decision, because success and failure, even though you have this box, is built on your shoulders. And so my number one piece of advice for a franchise buyer is if you look at $1 and say it's worth 100 pennies all the time, you're going to struggle, because automatically when you buy a franchise, $1 is only worth 90 pennies because you have to pay your fees on top of it. Then if you think about real estate selection, if you're going into that, or marketing, if you're going into a mobile-based business, you've got to take that $1 down another 10 cents. So now your $1 is only worth 80 cents because you've got to put the money and energy towards marketing your business. And so sometimes the mindset doesn't equal that. The last thing that I'll say is if I'm looking at an investment, I would look at something that I can own 3 of. And the reason being is you get one open, you have enough money for a rainy day, because there will be rainy days. Like the biggest rainy day over the last 4 years was COVID, but there's other rainy days that will appear. We're in an election year, that's a rainy day. And then you have enough for scale. If you look at or figure out a way to get that much money, or how am I going to achieve this much investment money to put into the business? If you go in with that mindset, and even if it's not a perfect math, those two things of my $1 is not worth $1 and I'm okay with that. I'm playing for the long term, and I'm thinking about scale and rainy day as a protection when I get into business. Those two things will equip a franchisee to make the things that they want happen, which tend to be, how do I build a great business that will impact my family, that I can eventually exit from and impact my retirement. And so it's not brain surgery by any means, but it gives you a good pathway to how you leverage all the buzz terms that you had and put it to work.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you. This was fun.